Hello, folks. This is Joe from MIGeekScene. I'm at Blackrock Medieval Fest with the Freestylers of Piping. I'm standing next to Richard, Michael, and Elijah. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, thank you.
I already love the beginning to this. Well, gentlemen, you're a bagpipe group with two percussionists.
Yes.
What instruments do you play? Elijah?
I play the bagpipes.
I play the tupan.
I play a weird drum set.
And I know one member is missing, David. He also plays bagpipes as well. Is the set of bagpipes that he plays, are they different from the type of bagpipes that you play?
They're actually about the same.
Just different in name?
The same brand, he just has a little bit more silver on his than I do.
What?
A little more bling.
A little more bling bling, yeah.
Do they customize bagpipes?
Yeah,
Like, kind
yeah,
of
I
like
mean,
vanity plates for cars? Do they do that with bagpipes?
You can get that done normally. Bagpipes have, like, newer bagpipes are done on, like, the engravings done on a lathe.
Okay.
Way back in the day, it's done by hand, so.
Okay, so it's not like I have a platinum platinum bagpipe.
I've never heard of those.
No,
Well,
I
with the
know
lathe
that.
just being platinum in itself. Blinging it out.
I got you.
Nah. Well,
What?
we'll touch upon hip hop influences later. Yeah, you're influenced by hip hop so much to the point that you bling out your bagpipe.
Yeah.
That could be the next step.
Yeah.
The next step takes you guys to the next level.
Right.
Scott.
Little John, those drones, you know.
Oh
Lots
no!
of
Oh my God!
diamonds and
No, please don't. Like after blowing.
big red
What?
rubies.
But nonetheless, how long have you guys been around?
Well, we started this band in January of 2014, so
Okay.
just over a year and a half. We've all known each other for many years and played in a lot of other people's bands, and now we have our own band.
What instrument do you play for this group?
I play a drum called a tupan.
It's a big drum from what I saw.
It's a big drum. It's got Turkish and Eastern European origins. The one that we have is a little bigger than most because me and my friend built it. It's basically like a Western hybrid, so it can be like the boom boom bap guy, you know.
All right, thank you, Michael. Richard, what instrument do you play?
Ooh, I play a drum kit, but instead of a snare, I have a djembe, and then for a doumbek, I just whack it out. You know, I whack the whack out of it. I don't play it actually. No. I don't. You know. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you on
hit
that.
the side of it.
Yes, I hit the side. But my favorite part about the drum kit is the tambourine on the hi-hat and my cymbal. Ooh, it's a sweet Constantinople. You got to get your hands on one of those.
So sweet. How did the name come about? I mean, obviously, it seems like it's a play on that's.
It was
well,
more Mike for the name.
I think David came up with the name. And
he's not here because he had
Right.
prior commitments.
There is, I guess, it has to do with the idea. Well, do you remember exactly? Man, this is like David's question. You know, this is
Yeah.
David kills this question. But basically, it has to do with.
Having to do with being free of style. Like, we have so many influences within the band that we can't really touch on one style that we do. So it's just what we do is what we do, and it's really there's no particular like route that we as a band are going. We're just doing what we want to do, and
Don't want to confine ourselves at all. So free of style is kind of what we're going for.
I noticed that upon reading upon you and seeing you perform, you guys have quite a bunch of. Boy, that's just a generic question. You have a lot of influences, ranges from hip hop to obviously world music and jazz. Elijah, would you like to talk about the hip hop influences for the group?
me personally, I'm a big fan of like Biggie Smalls and
Eminem.
And Eminem is also a very big influence in myself. But like the band also
We
likes
used to live
bands like
together every day. Sorry.
I love how this is going already.
the
This is
band. The
completely
band
cool.
also loves like bands like Outkast and The Roots, and there's a lot. We play a lot. We play a little bit of. I'm not even sure where that beat comes from the Biggie
we
thing.
sampled from Biggie, see, you know, because all like hip hop is sampled, so then we're sampling from that. We just took a beginning from a tune called Everyday Struggle and put that at the beginning of one of our real sets.
I noticed that a collection of songs you refer to as the notorious J.I.G.
Yeah.
And obviously that seems like that's a homage to
Absolutely.
hip hop. Well, you mentioned the Roots earlier. Speaking of Roots,
Yeah.
a certain member by the name of Michael, who I'm talking to right now, and he's holding a mic, has some love for Questlove. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, well, I guess I first heard the Roots when I was a sophomore in high school, which is 20 years ago. And they had just put out an album called Do You Want More? And which actually features a bagpiper named Rufus Harley. It's probably the only time that there's going to be bagpipes in hip-hop. And it's just a great album, you know. And a lot of my friends at the time were getting into, like, jazz and bebop and things like that. And at the same time getting into the hip-hop that was influenced by that, like Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and bands like that, you know, and the Roots. And Questlove, man, he's just so tasteful, and he just fits in so well, you know. His groove and his pocket is just so tight, you know. He
Seems like a cool guy, too.
Yeah, he seems like he's played with, like, everybody. I saw him once at Bonnaroo, like, 10 years ago, jamming with Ben Harper and John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin. They played Led Zeppelin songs for like 3 hours in the middle of the night. It was awesome. And I think we actually had the same, like, his drum teacher in high school, I studied with him in college. So sort of
Well, that's awesome. That's quite the connection right there.
Yeah.
All right, Richard, what about your musical influences? Like,
Oh, you know, I went to classical percussion school, but my main influence has always been Jim Kilpatrick. I love you. He's the baddest mofo on drums ever. So I always try to be like him. Hopefully he's proud of me. Love you, Jim. But yeah, pipe bands and classical music. These guys got me listening to the Roots and hip hop most recently. But yeah, I might be more boring when it comes to liking Chopin or Rachmaninoff or something like that.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Richard is the reason why we sound as good as we do, basically.
Synergy and coming together. Well, you two have, not you two, you three, minus the 4, because he's not here. You already have, I would like to say 1.5 albums, 2 albums out on an EP called Blue Holes. And the newer album that just came up, The Shape of
Piping to Come.
The Shape of Piping to Come, which actually is a reference to Ornette Coleman's The Shape of Jazz to Come.
Yep.
And The Refused did The Shape of Punk to Come. So.
Yeah.
I like the little reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you care to talk about those albums?
Sure. Well, as you might know, The Shape of Jazz to Come features saxophone, I believe trumpet, bass, and drums, no chord instruments, which is kind of what we represent too in this band too. Is it's all, you know, there's no chords, and it's a little more like, you know, it's different, you know. And so there's an homage there. And David actually wrote one of the tunes that's called The Shape of Piping to Come, and we were in the studio, and it was actually the day that Ornette Coleman died. And we were like, and he was like, I think we should call this. And he didn't even know that Ornette Coleman died that day. And I was like, we should call the whole album that, you know, and just, you know, it's kind of an homage to. And Dave's super into punk too, so he's totally aware of the reference to the punk reference too, you know.
Yeah,
so.
The Refused, because I caught that. I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's also the only track where our pipers really kind of freestyle and improvise, so that was another jazz reference. We're trying to get more into that. Bagpipes, for the most part, like their improvisation usually relies mostly on variation, but we'd like to see more just improvisation, you know, free improvisation happen in our band in particular, but also in more bagpiping that we see around, you know.
Well, don't you guys introduce a little bit of that already, since when you're at events, you have to do numerous shows throughout the weekend or the run of that, and don't you do various spins throughout all of your sets?
Yeah, you know, it depends. When we're a trio, there's less of, at least for me with the 2 bagpipes, you know, the other bagpipe brings another voice and another, like, a harmony part, and then they can play off each other more. When it's just him, he kind of has to lay it down, you know.
Elijah, it looked like you were about to say something.
I was just going to say that, like, the dynamic does change when there's only 1 bagpiper versus 2. The harmonies that we play with throughout the tune really adds another aspect to the craziness that we're already doing. But then these harmonies, which are not your normal bagpipe harmonies, there's the chords that are being played. They definitely go towards more of the jazz sound, and for me, someone that doesn't know a lot about jazz, it's been a lot of fun, like learning these sounds and getting them to play and how they're supposed to sound and whatnot. And but David and when David's here, when the four of us are like powerhousing it together, it's a whole new dynamic than just having three, 2 drummers and 1 bagpiper.
Fair enough. Well, you guys obviously play shows. Is your main crowds Ren fairs and Scottish festivals? Sometimes Irish too?
Well, at this point, that's what it's been, because at least for me and Eli, we've been doing Ren fairs for a little while now, so that's just sort of the people we know and the contacts that we have, as well as this, we'd actually like to do more of the Scottish festivals and the Highland Games. They're a lot of fun. Obviously, Ren fairs are a lot of fun too. But we would like to branch out more. When we go back to Los Angeles in September, we're going to try to hit the scene there more and do more, try, find
Fair
other
enough.
venues.
Speaking of Scottish festivals, you guys have a massive one that that's coming up. Would you
Yes.
care to talk about that and
Well-
your participation in that?
Sure. So the band is going to Scotland. All 4 of us as a band is going to Scotland for the World Pipe Band Championships that are taking place in Glasgow, Scotland, the weekend of August 15th. Myself and David, the other bagpiper, we're playing with a grade 1 band called the LA Scots, based out of Orange County, California.
Out of LA? No.
Right?
I-
that would only make sense.
And then Richard's playing with the North Stratton Pipe Band out of Alberta, Canada. And
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah.
I'm already standing next to celebrities as is, since you guys are blowing up in the bagpiping world.
But so the 3 of us are competing. Mike's going over to experience the whole new culture of pipe bands and getting his feet wet in that particular scene. And we're going to play a little bit for a contest called Drumming for Drinks, and this is more Richard's thing. So you could talk about that if you like. But the 3 of us are competing at the World Championships. It's a gathering of there's 200 and some odd bands in all different grade levels.
That's insane.
It's a lot of bagpipes, a lot of drums, and a lot of friendly musical competition. And at the end of the day, you're all really just playing music, but you're out there to give it your all, play the best you can, and really give a great positive perspective. I don't even know the word I was going to say. But
That's all right, man. No worries.
yeah.
You're going to have a good time.
It's going to be a good time, and there's going to be a lot of bands that are going to be playing well, so it's definitely an exciting time as a bagpiper and a drummer.
Awesome. Richard, do you want to add anything to that, sir?
We're trying to go everywhere. This is our band's first year. I feel like the only way we're gonna get big or try to make this more of a bigger part of our lives is we need to go weird places. And the obvious first place to go is Scotland, and we really hope to get a good response from them. Scottish people love bagpipes.
I would have never guessed at all. I mean,
No,
that's a thing?
I am so excited to go play for those peeps. The Scottish people are some of my favorite people. They know how to get down and get funky. So I hope we just go over there and have just a blast. We've been working on this project for a while, raising money for it. We appreciate everybody who's helped us out with that. And it's just going to be a fantastic trip. And Mike has even decided to go to Liverpool. He has a thing for the Beatles, I think.
Liverpool.
See, I mean, I was looking around, stuff to do. Seems like something to do,
He's
See one of the.
excited about it.
Why not?
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, as you should be. Well, gentlemen, if people were interested in checking out more about you and finding your music online, where would they be able to look?
Well, our website is thefreestylersofpiping.com, and we're also on Facebook, The Freestylers of Piping, and we're also on Instagram, The Freestylers of Piping. And then there's links on our website to, I believe, iTunes and other ways to download our music online.
All right. Well, is there anything that you would like to say to your fans?
Ooh, we love you, and you're beautiful.
Man, that's the hardest one. What do you want to say?
Thank you for supporting original music. We love it, and we love you for supporting it.
All right,
and
well,
supporting us.
gentlemen, thank you so much for granting this interview.
What's up, Joe?
Hey.
Thanks, Joe.
Hi, Richard. Thank you. Well, folks, this is Joe from MIGeekScene at Blackrock Medieval Fest, and once again with the Freestylers of Piping. Take it easy.